Good afternoon and welcome to 15-minute gamer. Today, something different again. Last week I done Xbox versus PS3. It went well. Got quite a few views. I quite enjoyed doing it as well. So I thought, since my ugly mug seems to be getting some viewers, why not do another one? So today, this is ambitious. This could go horribly wrong. I'm basically running through Retrospective, I've decided to call it. This is going to be, and it was suggested by MikeObi184 on Twitter. Follow him, he's canny. And this is all about my life in consoles, running from the very start to the very end, and where I see it going from here. This is going to be about half an hour long, I hope. And I hope you enjoy it. It's going to bring back a bit of nostalgia, I think. I hope for you. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be just a bit about me. I'm not going to concentrate on the games at all in this point. I might touch on a few of them, but that's for another video. This video is about the consoles, and for me, what they did for me, how I found them, what sort of stage my life was at when I started these, why maybe I picked a certain way of console. What does this shape my future gaming habits? I did actually find out something in here that was quite interesting. I'd never thought about before. Why I chose a certain path. It should be quite good. We're gonna go on. We're gonna crack on. So, basically, the first console I ever owned. I'm not gonna go on yet, but the Atari 2600, and it goes all the way to. Last console I bought was the 3DS. I have made some notes because there's a lot to talk about, and I'm blocking half my screen with this webcam and some notes, so I really can't see what's going on, so I need to talk through the notes as we go along. So yeah, that's it. Consoles are interesting. The first not wearing consoles, well, they were, I suppose. And watching through these slides, the evolution of the consoles is quite interesting, I think. If you're into gaming, if you're not into gaming, we'll see. This is all the consoles that have ever been released that I could find. I did make this picture. As you can see, there's a hell of a lot. I think the first one was called the Brown Box. I seem to remember. All the way to... this one's a bit old. I'm looking around the webcam. The Wii U's obviously the latest console we've got, and the two new coming out this year, which I covered last time. So, what is the Atari 2600? That is one of them. I'm sure a lot of you who are possibly watching this, maybe have never even heard of this, and you're thinking, wow, the console had wood on it? Yes, it did. This is made of wood. You could choose if you had a colour TV, black and white TV, with the little controls on the top. This is how consoles used to look. It had a control with one button, and used what was called cartridges back in the days. A little bit different. So, that was the control. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? One button. Generally, it was either up, down, left, right. There was no direction. There was no 3D aspects to it, as you'll see in a second. Simple game back in the days. So, yeah. That's what they look like. You got ET. That's what the controls look like. You had classic games such as Space Invader, Pitfall, Qbert. This was called Airliners. You had Spider-Man. You had Pac-Man, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, that was just some of the games you could get for this. There was hundreds. Actually, they went on for all day, but I'm not interested in the games. The console, this was, I suppose, where my love of gaming started. This was back in... This came out in 1977, by the way. I wasn't around then. I was still 6 years off. So obviously I didn't get this new. An interesting fact, it ran at 192 160, which just shows that's how there was all the four colours. That was all they could have on screen at once. It was the 8-bit console, one of the first generations of consoles. I'm going to start off with a disclaimer: the information in this video might not be true. You know what I'm like? I haven't scripted that much. So yeah, this is my introduction to gaming. I mean, some of the games back there, the Space Invaders, Pac-Man, are classic games. Very simple. Pac-Man was brilliant, wasted many hours. On this, you didn't have to save. Things were very short. The games were sweet. It was all about the playability because the graphics, obviously, you couldn't get the graphics. All about, there was loads of indie games coming out. Well, it was all indie. There was no major real publishers out back then. If you see some of the names, which I might cover in another video, I mean, it's amazing how some of these companies have been going, like Ocean and Intervision and Sensible Software, all those sort of things. You know, this is how it started. This really brought gaming to the masses, I suppose. As such, it made gaming a bit more popular. I mean, Space Invaders is a massive game. I don't think you know put a price on that. Very interesting time in life. I would have guessed. I have no idea. Maybe 4 or 5 when I got one of these. This is how old I was. This is how long I've been gaming for. That's why it's a big passion of mine. Plugged in TV, worked. There was nothing else to it. It wasn't very complicated. But yeah, that it was primarily ports of arcade games like Space Invaders, where arcade ported down onto this to play. So they were very simple, but they were good games. So yeah, things went up a little bit after that. It went to the Commodore 64. I'll show most of you looking at it. Looks like a PC. Yeah, well, it does. It's not too dissimilar to a PC. As you see the designs there. These look. That was me on Christmas. No, it wasn't. But you know, that's how excited you used to be when you get these things. These were like really expensive. A little fact that cost $595 on release. Just shows you that the Xbox really isn't that bad value. $595, amazing. So yeah, this is what you've done. The run on a tape. Look at that. So yeah, this is what you loaded your game in via tape, which is amazing. I don't know how it worked. Don't ask me. I remember spending many hours waiting for a bloody tape to load on this screen. You put the tape in. It did some things. I'm not going to go into details because I can't remember. It was that long ago. Many hours pushing down the tape deck because it wouldn't quite work. Waiting hours for a game to load and it would crash. The screen would build up with the picture of the game and then you could play it. I can't begin to tell you how long it worked. Best selling console ever though, so it must have done something right. It sold millions of units. It went up to 16 whole colours. 16 in on the Commodore 64. Big step up. Big console. That's how I ran on these tapes, as you can see there. That's what they were called. So some of the games we had on this. These are games I owned. This was Pit Stop 2. Paperboy, which I'm sure most of you have seen before. At Olympics 1988. We have... That was Operation Wolf. We have Batman. We have Little Computer People. So many fond memories of this game. And we have Outrun 2, which, yeah, it doesn't look too similar now. So, the Commodore 64. As I said, I would have been about 1988. You would have been looking at 6-7 years old by the time I had one of these. So I was still quite young. I wasn't really controlling. It was a passion. I loved gaming. Again, you couldn't save what you were playing, so you had to load up a game, play it. Don't think you could save anywhere. I could be completely wrong. I can't remember. I was a young child. Games were very, yeah, as you can see, they weren't basic as such. They were starting to take on a bit more form. You couldn't. Some games you didn't just have to go left or right. You could go on different ways. Little Computer People was a little bit like a Tamagotchi sort of thing. So you had to look after your little bloke in the house. You could make him take baths. Like Sims. It just shows back in 1988. That sort of era had Sims. 20 years later, how it's involved on the game. Most popular gaming console ever, apparently, in figures of sales, I think. Just shows why people are still playing, still emulating. Some people still got this at works. Proper clicky keys as well. Brilliant. Time of my life, I really can't remember too much about it, but Commodore 64, loved it, owned it. And fond memories. However, the next console was where I had my most fond memories of my early childhood, and that was the Amiga 1200, which came out in 92. Obviously, I didn't own it then, but yeah, the Amiga. This is when it started its run. It did come in many forms. But this ditched tapes in the favour of floppy disks, which you may remember if you're early PC gaming. So floppy disk, yeah. I mean, the games shot up a little bit. Yeah, we had things like Theme Park, A-Train. Funny story about that, which my stepdad doesn't know, which I'm going to tell in a second. We had Apocalypse. We had Cannon Fodder, Desert Strike, Elite, Another World, Pinball Illusions, one of my favourite games, Syndicate, which just got rebooted, but this is the original, Sensible Soccer, Too many men. I mean, the Amiga 1200 was brilliant. This is where I remember most of my gaming time. They came on discs. So yeah, you could wipe a disc by mistake, as I did with A-Train, letting off someone and accidentally pressed the little black button on it in the back wrong, and it wiped it. I've never told anyone that. I stepped out if you're watching this. Yeah, I sort of wiped the game and hid that. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, these means you could copy games if you wanted to, because it was disc to disc. It was a lie. There was so many games, and they were brilliant. I remember playing golf games on it. Games started to get a little bit more 3D as such. There were a bit more. There was more playability to them. You could save your games on here. Just look at a great machine, all income in one. There's like a PC, I guess, base unit, just without it. It was pretty cool. Did I use that on TV or monitor? I think I had a TV. I don't know. There would have been like 15-inch portable. I did have one. This was really quick. It loaded up in seconds. You put the disc in. It made some whirly noises, which I almost still remember in my head. And then the game was loaded, and you had a full keyboard, so you had the mouse as well, some white mouse. And yeah, I mean, it might not be a console as such, but these were early consoles, and this is what it looked like. The discs did corrupt quite easily, and so did the Amiga. Disk drive damaged quite quickly. I don't know why. I remember going through a few, but it was so easy to take out. This would have been when I was about 10, maybe 10, 11, 12 sort of age range. Obviously I didn't get this one released, probably one of the later ones. But yeah, this is sort of was the generation of when gaming was more bedroom orientated. It wasn't out in the big wide world. People like Sega and Nintendo hadn't really came into it yet, which we'll go in a second. But yeah, this was gaming was seen about geeky. It was people sitting in the bedrooms, bedroom publishers. Some might say the golden age of gaming, when it was cheap, easy to use, and anyone could do it. I don't know what, some of them games were amazing. Theme Park, still going in certain guises. Desert Strike was brilliant. Elite is coming back, which is just one of the best space games ever. Some of the best music ever as well. I was going to try and put some music in here, but I didn't know where it stood on copyright, so I didn't. So that was the Amiga. So yeah, kind of part of my life now where I think this is where my gaming habits picked up. And bear with me, I was asked one day towards Christmas, what did I want? Did I want a Sega Master System 2 or a NES, which is a Nintendo Entertainment System on your right there. This was a choice, I suppose. The two totally different consoles. I know you might be thinking, no. But this was tended to be more of a time when games were a little bit more exclusive and characters were starting to form on the consoles. So you had Sega with Sonic, Alex the Kid, that sort of thing. You had NES with its Mario's and games like that, Zelda. Two totally different types of game in one sense. In one sense, the Master System, which I'm going to go into in a second, was more... I don't know how to describe it. It was... Nintendo games were a lot more, like, you had to get into, like, Zelda, that sort of thing. A lot more Japanese in style, a lot more Mario, that sort of thing. A lot more slow-paced. Sega was a lot about the excitement, which is why I picked. And if you think this is... You'll see where my gaming consoles come to, and you'll probably come back to this slide and think about it. This is probably why I game like I do. If I'd went for the NES, say I went for the Master System, if I went for the NES, I think my gaming likes would have been hugely different. I don't particularly like Zelda, never have. I've never really liked Mario, never really got into that side of things. Final Fantasy never got into, and I think this is why I chose the Master System. Now, why did I choose the Master System? Was I banged on the head? I know a lot of NES people are probably going to go, no, my God, how can you not like Zelda? I just don't. I like games where you can pick up and play, and this is what I believe the Master System was more about. And I think this has shaped my games, because even now, if a game has a long tutorial and there's loads of complex things to learn, I turn off, to be fair. If it's going to take hours, it gets turned off. I don't have the time to play these sort of games, and I like the entertainment quick and fast towards me. If that's, that's just my view. Master System probably why it started like this. So yeah, you can see why. If I picked the NES and I played Zeldas and I played Mario's and I played Final Fantasies, I might have moved in that genre of gaming. I didn't. I went for this genre of gaming. So yeah, I mean, these were cartridge based, and we had such games as Alex the Kid, Shinobi, Mickey's Magical World, I think it was called. Land of Illusions, it was called. I wrote that one down. Great game. I love this game. We had Sonic the Hedgehog. We had Pro Wrestling. We had Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We also had Black Belt, and many, many more on this. I'm not concentrating on the games, so I know you could see there's thousands of other games for Master System. For me, this was when gaming became easier, I suppose. The interfaces were easier. There was none of this loading times. There was none of this. You can copy any games on here. None of this holding down cassette discs. Gaming came a bit more popular. Like people started, like you taught people to actually own these systems. A few people owned Amigas when I was in school. Not many. When I started getting Sega, people started owning the NES or the Sega. It was like a bit of a duel in that sense, and it continued on until later on in the generation. And yeah, happy memories. I remember playing Alex Kidd a lot. All the games mentioned on there I've played them a lot. The Master System, I think Alex the Kid might had it built in, I believe. I can remember. I really think it might have. But yeah, I mean, overall, did I make the right choice in my mind? I don't know, because I don't know if I'd went down the other route, what would have happened. I found the Master System to be more pick up and play, more playability, more user friendly. Could you argue that Sonic and Mario, if you compare the two, it's quite hard. Sonic is more about the fast paced rush action, which we hadn't seen before. That sort of speed in the game hadn't been achieved. That's what sold it for me. That Sonic, the excitement, the rush you got from playing that, the running around the nicely coloured areas, whereas Mario was very much about going bloop, bloop, just jumping, collecting coins very slowly, time when you're going to jump, that for me, which is why I picked it. And it does shape my life now as well. Which I started doing this video, I didn't think about it. But yeah, this I would have got probably around about the late 1980s, early 1990s, I think I would have got this. Again, very simple controller. There was none of this, well, you could sort of go sideways, I suppose, but mainly it was up, down, left, right, ELB. But yeah, this is a smart system. Look at it. So where'd I go after that? Mega Drive. Anything else? It was the next step in that. The Mega Drive, which came out in 1990. The thing was, it used cartridges again, and again there was why did I make this choice? I think it was because I carried on, but yeah, it was such games as, well, this is what a box of games would look like. First FIFA came out, which, as you can see, brilliant. Looks, even the crowd looks better than it did now. We had Sonic again. We had Streets of Rage. We had Road Rash, which is a brilliant game. I'd love to see that come back. Aladdin, which I spent many hours on. Sonic and Knuckles. Micro Machines, which 2-player was just fantastic. And against the computer, some of the characters now were brilliant. And this pole position F1 game as well. And also Madden. I've never really played a American football game, but this was the first one and the only one I've ever played, and many happy hours on that. This is what peripherals were like in my old days. You had a 32X, which basically upped the bits of the machine, and also a CD drive, which killed the Mega Drive off. That Mega Drive was dead. See how ugly it is? It was. The Mega Drive. Memories of this probably stem from sort of moving up. It's not the prettiest console in the world. A lot of my friends went for the SNES. I kept on this, and it was quite a big battle back at the time between the SNES and the Mega Drive, and it was either one or the other. You either loved the SNES or you loved the Mega Drive. I loved the Mega Drive. Very basic console, very plasticky. Had some brilliant games out for it. The multiplayer was fantastic. My friends had SNESes, so I did get to play things like Star Fox and Mario Kart. Mario Kart you can't beat. I do sort of wish I'd moved that way that generation because I love Star Fox as well. But yeah, that was the Mega Drive. I would have got that pretty early 1990s, I guess. I didn't get it near the release. It was a good console. It lasted many years. Game at this time, I was a little bit out of gaming at this point. I was playing it, but not massively. I was concentrating more on football and out on bikes all the time and stuff. I was a lot more outdoorsy. So consoles kept you in, which I think was the problem with consoles. People were like, oh my god, you can play on a console, you're sad, you're alone, blah blah, because it was a little bit of a lonely activity. Well, not you could get friends, but you know what I mean. And it did stop certain people going outside, and that's what was seen. That was a stigma attached to consoles, I think, back then. Does it still go on? A little bit, yeah. It's a bit of a shame, really, but yeah, I think Mega Drive was about fast-paced action to me. It was pick up and play again. You could say it was lazy gaming because you just didn't have to really think about it. You could turn it on and off. Unlike things like Zelda in that way, I had to concentrate so much on it. Did I have a complete Sonic? I can't remember. I was trying to think about that before. Road Rash was brilliant. Yeah, it was good. I quite like that. So yeah, from there I moved on to the Game Boy. Look at that classic design. The Game Boy. This I didn't know many games for at all. There's about 2 pages to this. These were Tetris, which has some of the best music in the world. Again, I was going to try and bring it in. Not sure I'm quite right. We had Mario. I had Dr. Mario and Aliens, and that was it. All I owned for the Game Boy. This is my first forte into Nintendo. This for me was portable gaming on the mass. You saw people play this on the metros. You saw them play on the bus. You saw people walking around with it. When I was going to my grandma's house, I could play this. It was great. I could game on the go. This is when gaming started to pick up again for me on this Game Boy for a little bit. Most of it was only Tetris and Mario, but I really enjoyed them, and I just loved the way you could take it anywhere. It was quite light. It was compact, robust, especially when 1990. Yeah, probably would have been by the time I got it. I would have been knocking on 8, 9 years old. So yeah, I mean, for me, pretty good. I pretty enjoyed it. But yeah, very simple console, little cartridges. If you've never owned one, some of the games are pretty cool. But yeah, good times. Right, next, the Jaguar. I'm almost going to be going, what the hell is that? That, my friends, is the Atari Jaguar. This, my stepdad picked up from an electric shop closing down for £99. I can't remember the year. But I played one game on this, which was Cybermorph. And this is the controller. Look at it. Look how it's getting a little bit more complicated now. You had overlays which you put over the keys. It's because they had 9 keys there, I think. I can't see past this screen, but yeah. So yeah, you had these little key, which PC gamers have been using for a while. Was it a bad console? I'm not overly sure. Sorry, the video went a little bit there. Yeah, I'm not overly sure. I only played this one game, Cybermorph. That was it. I never played any of those. It flopped hugely. So I can't really say much on this. All I remember is that game. I can remember owning it for a little bit. I can't remember replaying it. Gaming for me, this was a bad point in gaming for me because I was concentrating so much on doing other stuff than gaming. So I did dip in now, but I wasn't really bothered. Next console changed all that though. And that was the PS1, which wasn't given away at all in before. PS1, the little grey box, isn't it? Lovely. Yeah, you had a little memory card, you had a little controller. The memory card let you take your save games to other people's houses, which Sharon loved it. Wired controller, I don't know. So yeah, stay so close to the screen. That's where I've got contacts in at the moment. Controls started getting a little bit more complicated. You had select buttons, start buttons, 4 buttons, and you also had trigger pads, triggers. Yeah, that's all. So yeah, what sort of things did the PlayStation 1 bring? It brought the dinosaur demo, which I'm going to cover in a second. I love that. We had Gran Turismo, we had Doom, we had Dino Crisis, we had Driver, we had Grand Theft Auto 1, Grand Theft Auto 2, we had Demolition Derby, one of my favourite games ever, we had Wipeout, we had Ridge Racer, Twisted Metal, Warhawk, Tomb Raider, Tokyo Race Drive, one of my favourite games, well, a lot of favourite games on this console, Tekken, Silent Hill, just to name some of the few. So the PlayStation 1 lives in my memory, mainly because of the demo disc. I don't know why. Controlling that dinosaur was just like, my god, this is amazing. I mean, if you look back to what I was playing, which was the Mega Drive and the Game Boy and the Jaguar, which I hardly touched, to then go on to this. The Dino demo, if you've never tried it, if you're of not this age, basically, you just got to control the T-Rex around the screen, but the way it was rendered, the way it walked was just brilliant. It also had a demo disc included where you could play music. So what you did is put your demo disc in, it loaded up, and then you put your music CD in, it like danced around the screen. Suggs, always remember playing Suggs CD on there. I don't know who's Suggs. Yeah, and my favourite memories of this are renting games. It's the first time I ever went to a shop and rented. Blockbusters was a short bus ride away. My mum used to give me a couple of pounds money to go down and get a game. Usually got a weekend to play it and then return it. Most of them games you see there, I didn't buy many games for PlayStation. I rented every single game. So yeah, fond memories of the PS1. This is to me where gaming started to become a little bit more back in my life. I was loving gaming, and to me this is where I played a lot of PC games, which I'm going to come on to in a second. In the PlayStation 1 I had a long time. I loved it. I got it on probably just after release, and I think I played about 250 with one controller with no memory card. So yeah, great console. I really enjoyed it. Moved on to PC gaming, and this is dirty PC. I'll tell you why. I sold my PlayStation 1 to buy my first PC, and I can't remember what they're like. It's probably not dissimilar to this, to be fair. I took my PlayStation 1 down to Granger Games to sell. He tried Tekken in it. It jumped when he was trying it out. He went, "Oh, I'm not buying this. The laser's knackered." And I goes, "Just try again, just try again." I didn't see it jump. Whistle. And it worked next time I was over the moon. So I went straight to my stepdad's friends who was selling a PC, and I bought my first ever gaming PC. Well, can you call it gaming? I can't remember anything about it. I'm not going to cover PC gaming here too much because of the fact that it's consoles. But I did put a little bit because I think it deserves a place, because this is where my gaming went for a long time, PC gaming. Because it was so open. And I'm going to show you some of the games and what we could play. So yeah, we had games such as Alien vs Predator. This ruined my life. This is when I stopped going out and playing with friends. And one day get a knock on the door, and my friend's going, "Are you coming out?" This is, remember, before we had mobile phones and stuff. I was like, "No, I'm not feeling very well." Really, I was playing this. I loved Alien vs Predator. I mean, look at how great it was. Also, we had games like Command and Conquer, just one of the greatest games ever. I wasted so many hours on this. Great, fantastic. Football Manager, Championship Manager type games. That's just a random screenshot. I know time-wise we're miles away, but yeah, just Championship Manager. Half-Life. Can you say anything else? Strategy games is this one in here. This is Age of Empires, I think. There was quite a lot of little strategy games on there. We also had games like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I mean, come on, one just great game. And also Wing Commander, where you mixed gaming with videos inside of it. It had quite a few big characters in this game. So yeah, that was the games you could sort of get. And Netscape Navigator, this is where the internet was coming on. I was starting to use the internet. I was starting to use, can you remember Netscape Navigator? It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. Also had dial-up internet. My stepdad used to hate that because I used to not be able to get through on the phone all the time to him. Yeah, I mean, many fond memories of internet. Also Napster. What can we say about Napster without getting in legal trouble? You could share music illegally. I never used it, obviously. That would be bad. Just know what it is. But yeah, it used to take about 20 minutes to download a song. If I download songs, it would take about 20 minutes. Didn't, so it's good. But yeah, this slide. To me, the PC was about connecting to the world, which you couldn't do on the PS1. And this is why I went for the PC. I was playing Command and Conquer Online against people across the world. I was playing games with endless possibilities, multiple discs, some fantastic graphics, some amazing strategy games where I had the whole world to conquer. You know, the scale of games compared to the PS1 were massive. And I went PC gaming for a very, very long time. However, did have its limitations, which I'm going to cover in another video, but upgrading, because you constantly had to stupidly upgrade your PC to cover the latest games. Your graphics card wasn't good enough, your processor wasn't good enough, you didn't have enough memory, your hard drive would get full. So yeah, I mean, this is why, after many happy years of PC gaming, I went to the PS2, what a console that is. PS2 came along, and what sold it for me was Gran Turismo. That's when I sold my gaming PC, I think. Yeah, sold my gaming PC and got a PlayStation 2. And what did I get for Christmas? I can't remember. I think Christmas maybe. But this is seeing Gran Turismo for the first time. I was like, wow, something that I don't have to upgrade all the time. Just gonna be able to play these games. But yeah, we had such games as Grand Theft Auto, Burnout, Mercenaries, Bully, if you can remember Bully, Gran Turismo, Resident Evil, Ridge Racer, Black, one of the best shooters ever made. It has such wonderful gun effects. Warriors, brilliant multiplayer game. Metal Gear Solid. We have Siphon Filter, which I loved, and also just at the end here we have, which I can't even remember its name, Dead to Rights. Great game. Also, this is when my allegiance went from PES to FIFA. I did play PES on the PlayStation 2, and then one day it turned to FIFA, and it's never looked back. I would never have dreamed of buying FIFA on the early PlayStation, but I did. So yeah, PS2. PS2 was for me was finally when gaming became grown up. To me, this is when it appealed to every generation. Those games catered for like mature gaming. There was games like Spyro for the children. You had the iToy for fun. The TV adverts were varied. They were great. Some even got banned. That's how good they were. Gran Turismo was amazing. That was just brilliant. Grand Theft Auto 3, fantastic. Vice City. All them sort of games were just customization options started coming. You get different coloured consoles, different coloured pads, different coloured memory cards. The possibilities were endless on the PS2. What a console it was. I think possibly one of the best consoles ever. I got Simline as well. My original PlayStation 2 got stolen in a burglary. On the day Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out. It was the weekend beforehand, and it got stolen. Anyway, the insurance money came through. Rushed out to get San Andreas. Got back, what I'd forgotten? Memory card. Went to get out to the memory card. What'd I do? Crashed my car into a hedge, into a fence. Happy times. I was rushing too much to get a memory card and crashed my car. That was stupid of me. Yeah, it didn't do too much damage, but I had to replace quite a lot of it. And it was held together by sticky tape by then. But yeah, PlayStation 2, many years. This is when multiplayer gaming came on. I was playing loads of getting friends over to play things like FIFA, play things like Warriors, just some of the Twisted Metal. Just such a good console, such happy memories. I was sad when PlayStation went. What did it go to? Guess what I went for? Another gaming PC. I upgraded again, which I'm not going to go back in because I've had 5 PCs now which I've built. I'm on 5th now. So yeah, after this, and after a bit more gaming, guess what came along? The Xbox 360. This I bought myself, an exported for me for Christmas. I got it in the October. She wouldn't let me have it till December. With this game, Test Drive Unlimited. What a game that is. But yeah, so I wasn't allowed that game. But the This is where gaming to me turned a bit more sequel orientated. The games came out and then they brought out. So this slide's not mainly about games, it's about sequels. So Grand Theft Auto came out 4, brilliant game. Halo series came out. FIFA went from strength to strength on the Xbox. Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3, all fantastic games. Just Cause 2, one of the better open world games ever. The Gears of War series, Fallout series, generic shooters which were abundant to hell on the Xbox. That one's COD, I think. We also had Assassin's Creed come out. Forza and racing games in general took on more levels of realism than they've ever seen before. The cars looked amazing, the tracks were amazing, the connectivity was amazing. We had some indie games come out. Trials HD, brilliant. This just came out, State of Decay, another brilliant indie game. Connect, where gaming moved from being just you and a joystick to you and moving around to control the console, even though it flopped, but let's not mention that. So there's a Connect game. And Xbox Live. Xbox Live, I'm going to leave this up here. Throat's going again. This is all live, one take. So yeah, this is when, because only PC gaming had done this previously really well. You could argue the original Xbox. But yeah, you connect to live and suddenly you connect to millions of people around the world. You could race, you could shoot, you could kill, you could fly, you could jump, you could do anything with anyone from around the world. And Xbox Live, even though you pay for it, it's just brilliant. Very rarely falters, very rarely breaks. It's just a really good thing, and for me, I love it. It's opened up a whole new world. You got indie developers developing for it. You got things moving along, and that's what I like about it. So yeah, the Xbox in general was the console that I've owned for now 6 years. You can see previously, I mean, if we take 6 years off me, that put me at 24. I started gaming when I was about 7 or 8. So how many consoles I owned between 8 and 24? It's a lot. Now, since 24 onwards, I've owned 1. So I just, well, no, there's more to come, but yeah, this one is a definitive. I don't think I would ever get rid of the Xbox. So yeah, this is the Xbox 360. At this stage, you might be thinking, wow, he's missed a few off there. I have, because I didn't own them. These are what I owned. But next, I went to the PS3. I bought one of these the year after buying the Xbox. The PlayStation 3, for me, I owned very few games for it. I bought this for Uncharted because it looked amazing. So there's Resistance, I owned that. Resistance 2, Little Big Planet, Metal Gear Solid 4, which I was very surprised that was brilliant. We also had Uncharted 2. PlayStation Home, what a joke that was. I was so excited when this came out. I thought it could be really good. Just had to be a bunch of blokes. If you hadn't female avatar, just got hit on. It was such a great idea and it just didn't work. That's such a shame. And what it turned into in the end, an expensive Blu-ray player. All did. Bit of a shame, really. Well, I think the PlayStation 3, well, it went pretty quickly. I had it maybe 2 years, 2.5. I don't know. It was just, the internet was the whole. I didn't like the user interface. I didn't like the controller very much. I had more friends on the Xbox. People didn't have mics on the PlayStation, so people tend not to talk, so you didn't meet as many people. So yeah, PlayStation 3 for me came and went. The Xbox One, hands down. Did play some good games. I mean, Motorstorm, which was missing off there, was good. Not great. Little Big Planet, again, good, not great. I don't know. Uncharted was brilliant though. Metal Gear Solid 4 was fantastic. So there was some, and then MAG came on, massive. I don't know what the AA stand for. I'm sure it was massive something. Massive army game maybe. And it was crap, and that maybe sold on PlayStation. That's why I kept it for so long, for MAG to come out, and it got ruined. I did miss out on Heavy Rain, which I'm gutted about, and Last of Us, which just came out. I'm really disappointed, but maybe when I get a PS4 coming on that. So yeah, that's PlayStation 3. What else have I owned? The Wii. Now, I was sucked into this, and I got it for my ex. I got this because of the balance board. Look at it, there it is. And EA Sports Fitness, I think that was called. And oh, videos went a little bit further than I thought, but yeah. Cover the 3DS then. 3DS, I got 2 games for this. Tom Clancy's game, which I can't think what it was called, and Brain Train, and Zelda. So these 2 consoles here, which as you can see, I'm no name Nintendos, and this game right here, Zelda, I didn't like at all. Got it, played it, tried it, didn't like it, sold it. The 3DS is an interesting one. For me, I bought because I was doing night shifts in a job, and I was bored, so I got one of these to entertain me. Unfortunately, because my eyes were so tired, I couldn't use the 3D effects. I didn't really use it to its full potential, I suppose. The Tom Clancy game, which for the life of me I can't remember what it was called, was alright, yeah. Turn-based strategy game. The Wii, again, I liked it for maybe what it could have done, but no, it couldn't be the Xbox for me. Especially when Kinect came out and showed you how accurate things could be, because like Wii Sports, you could just sit and go like that or like that, and it would put full power shots in. If I'm gonna be putting effort into a game, I want to be able to put effort into a game. So that's Nintendo for me. So move on to what I didn't own. I didn't own the SNES, Game Gear. Can you remember the TV tuner? I didn't own a Dreamcast. I didn't own a GameCube. I didn't own the original Xbox. I didn't own a Vita either. There's plenty of others in there, but for me, as my path took me down the Sega route, I missed off the NES and the Super Nintendo. Then it went to the PlayStation route, which then means I missed off on the rest of them. Now, I'm not saying these are bad, and I've played them all. The N64 was, GoldenEye was brilliant. There was some Crazy Taxi, brilliant. Some brilliant games, especially Dreamcast with its little LCD screen. The GameCube, I can't say I played much of that, to be fair. I remember the games being really small. So yeah, it's just where my gaming life took me. I mean, if I had the money, or my parents had the money, I might have played them all, which would be nice. I did play them all because I obviously had friends who had them, and I spent a lot of time playing things like Mario Kart, Star Fox, GoldenEye, Crazy Taxi, Dreamcast. I can't remember what games were out. GameCube, never really touched, so I can't really comment. The Vita, bit of a flop there, wasn't it? And also the next one, the Wii U, flopped all over. I'm not going to buy one of them, but yeah. So the Wii U is where we're at. This is the latest console. It's just came out. Another Nintendo one, another flop, you could say. I was maybe interested in Lego City Undercover and Zombie U, or U Zombie, whatever it's called, but that turned out to be rubbish. So it's a bit of a shame, and I'm sure in years Nintendo will regret bringing that Wii U out to try and beat this current generation of consoles. It hasn't worked. So so the future of consoles. Done my last video on PS4 versus Xbox One. Since that video, Xbox have dropped all the DRM issues, which is great, but then lost its selling point, which was the sharing of games with your friends and family, all without having discs. So now it's just an £80 more expensive PS4 in my eyes. Still going the PS4. So yeah, I mean, I can see it continuing. The Xbox One, to be fair, is coming back a little bit. If it offers something free, like live for a year, or price drop, I might be brought back into it. Might be now that DRM's gone. I don't know though. So that's a future of gaming, where we're going. After that, who knows? It's developing at such a rate. So I have really no idea. But yeah, that's the end. That is my life through consoles. Went from the Amiga 2400, I can't remember what it's called now, 2600, to the Wii U, which I haven't owned. So yeah, I think the evolution of gaming over my 20 years of gaming, it's been a big one. You've went from very simple games like Space Invaders to what you can do now, which is massive open world cities and connecting through people all over the world. I think gaming's changed and the Xbox One's trying to do this massively, is the whole point of gaming for me is you sit down, joystick in hand, and play a game without any. I don't want interruptions. I don't want to Skype throughout my calls. I don't want to do any of this. And that's where it's going now. It's more immersive. Now they want you to interact with the game in different ways, like connect, move. They want you to talk to the game. They want you to play the game. They want you to be involved in the game. I think pick up and play gaming has now moved to smartphones. The iPhone. Voice is going again. So the smartphones, things like that, you can download games, apps, and they're quick games now. So consoles had to move away from that, which I can see why. Is that a shame? I think it is. That's probably why I'm getting the PS4, because it's a little bit more just sit down and playing. Smartphones are now where casual gamers go for the gaming. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good thing. And yeah, that's where it's gone. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, this little insight into consoles from my perspective and my viewpoint. As I said, might not be correct. There might be some games missed about, some wrong images. It's taken about a week to do this because I'm not very technical minded. I hope you've enjoyed. You can get me on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. I'm glad you've watched it if you've watched it all the way through, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.